yeah, they did it. Okay. Wow. Isn't that something? They did it, man. They did it. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Rolling the Bottom. I'm your host, Zach Moore. We're here to talk about the biggest news that dropped today, what the whole NASCAR world is talking about. NASCAR announces that Austin Dillon's win will not count towards the NASCAR playoffs eligibility for both driver and owner championship. Austin Dillon still gets the win in the purse money, but doesn't get the playoff eligibility and the points. He also got an additional 25 points deducted from this incident too. NASCAR said Austin Dillon violated Section 12.32.1b of the NASCAR rulebook, which deals with playoff eligibility and states which race finishes must be unencumbered by a violation of the NASCAR rules or other actions detrimental to stock car auto racing or NASCAR as determined in the sole direction of NASCAR. This was the right decision by NASCAR. They had to do this, in my opinion. They had to draw a line. Anyone comparing this to anything that Joey Logano or Denny Hamlin did or anyone else doesn't even come close to this, because you can't split this into two parts. You have to look at this as one whole thing. He came from multiple car lengths back in turn 3, took out Logano, overdrove the turn. He used Logano as his brakes pretty much. And then while Logano's crashing, Dillon kind of comes down and Denny is coming up the track with the momentum. And by SMT data, it proves Dillon did hang a left from at Bosey. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. It shows with the SMT data. If you look at the SMT data and look at where it says steering and watch the thing go up and down, right before he hits Denny, the thing shoots up. And it shows he was hanging a left by 30.9 degrees. That wheel was turned 30.9 degrees according to SMT data. I'm nowhere close to being the best to break down SMT data, but it proves he did turn his wheel to the left on Denny. Here's a quote from Elton Sawyer, VP of Competition for NASCAR. Sawyer says they took the entire incident in totality. We want to make sure we are protecting the integrity of our playoffs and our championship when we get into Phoenix. The key word there is integrity. You can't have a guy who was 32nd in points purposely wreck two guys to win the race. It doesn't matter how dominant he was in this race. He had his chance. In the restart, he got out-restarted by Joey Logano. He passed him clean. And he chose to retaliate from that by wrecking two guys and right-hooking Denny Hamlin. And that's a dangerous move. It doesn't matter what track. Now, if you want to blame NASCAR for the whole reason that Austin Dillon did this and the whole winning you're in and the way the playoffs works, Austin Dillon did what he did because if he would have won that race, he was in the playoffs. And that's why he did it. I understand what people are saying, but the rule book doesn't give you the right to do what Austin Dillon did. Now, another big talking point is where is the line to how far you can go into trying to win a race. And this is what Elton Sawyer said. I promise you, as a race car driver, they knew where the line is. It's been a few years since I did it, but I promise you I knew where the line was. Hard NASCAR racing. Little bump, little tire mark, moving a guy up out of the groove to win a race. We've done that for years. What happened on Sunday crossed the line. Look, I agree with Elton Sawyer here. A little bump, a little tire mark, a little bit of moving a guy out of the way. That's the so-called rubbing this racing thing. If NASCAR were to not penalize Austin Dillon from this big time like they just did by taking away his playoff eligibility, it would open up the floodgates massively. You would see retaliation from Denny and Joey, big time. Who knows how big that wreck would be dangerous. The whole self-policing thing is more like, hey, you race me hard, I'm going to race you hard back. You bump me out of the way, I'm going to bump you. You rub me, I'm going to rub you. It's that type of self-policing. You cannot let these guys just wreck each other. That's not a great look. That's not racing. And NASCAR's still trying to be a racing series. Whether or not you want to believe that, they're not trying to be all entertainment. Even though some of their decisions may be entertainment-based, they're still trying to be racing. They're still trying to crown the most deserving champion. Even though you may not agree with the playoff format, they're still trying to do that. And that's why I agree with the penalty. It has to mean something. It has to sting, so they don't do it again. And speaking of Austin Dillon, RCR is going to appeal the penalty. Richard Childress Racing is very disappointed in NASCAR's penalty against the No. 3 team. We do not agree with the decision that was made and plan to appeal. I'm not sure how they're going to get this thing unappealed, because there's already proof. You said you wrecked the 22, you were trying to get to the 22, and then there's already S&T data. It looks like you hooked the left on Denny. It's not a great look. You might make NASCAR even more mad, and they'll just take the entire win away. Now, I believe by the rule, You can't take it away. It has to be announced on Sunday if you're going to take the actual win away. I think by the rule book it says that. I'm not exactly sure. Alan Sorey did not get specific on why they made this decision because they are anticipating a appeal, and they were correct because RCR is appealing. Another funny thing from this is Denny Hamlin replied saying, "It's not as disappointing as I was off turn 4. And this is hilarious. I know people hate Denny Hamlin, but I love Denny Hamlin. He's so good for our sport, man. Oh, it's hilarious. And to make matters worse, RCR posted a hype video about an hour before the penalties were announced saying, "We're not done yet." Well, right now, you're done. Because they just lost their playoff eligibility, and now they got 3 races left to figure out how to get a win. And their best chance, most likely, will be at Daytona, which makes them look even worse, and this whole situation even worse. You hate to be RCR right now.